Danijela Milenkovic. I'm your teacher. In the next 15 minutes, I will be teaching you how to properly use present perfect tense. Present perfect tense refers to the past unfinished business which started happening in the past and still going on. For example, I have worked here for 3 years, which means that I worked here in the past and still I'm working here. Present perfect tense is a tense which refers to the situation that was going on in the past and is still happening. Jane has had a car for 3 years. We have lived here since 2010. Present perfect tense is formed of the auxiliary verb to have in the present. Its forms are have and has. We use has for the third person singular and have for all other persons. Examples: I have been, you have been, he has been, she has been, it has been, we have been, they have been. For the present perfect tense, we use verb in the past participle. If the verb is regular, we add ed to it. However, if the verb is irregular, we use its past participle form. We use present perfect tense for actions started in the past and continuing in the present. Examples: they haven't lived here for years. He has worked in the shop for 10 years. They have had the same car for 5 years. Have you played the piano since you were a child? We use present perfect tense when the time period referred to has not finished. Examples: he has worked hard this week. It has rained a lot this year. We haven't seen her today. We use present perfect tense for actions repeated in an unspecified period between the past and now. Examples: we have seen that film 5 times. It has happened several times already. He has visited them frequently. He has eaten at that restaurant many times. We use present perfect tense for actions completed in the very recent past, plus just. For example, has she just finished work? He has just eaten. They have just seen him. Have they just left? We use present perfect tense and when the precise time of the action is not important or not known. Examples: someone has eaten my cake. Have they seen Sense and Sensitivity? He's studied English and French. We have examples of affirmative, negative, interrogative form of present perfect tense. Affirmative: he has walked. Negative: she has not walked. Interrogative: has she walked? And negative interrogative: hasn't she walked? We also must know and affirmative, negative and interrogative form of different verbs. For example, to create. To create in present perfect tense, in affirmative form. I have created. You have created. He, she, it has created. We have created. You have created. They have created. A verb to create in negative form. I haven't created. You haven't created. He, she hasn't created. We haven't created. You haven't created. They haven't created. A verb to create in interrogative form. Have I created? Have you created? Has he, she, it created? Have we created? Have you created? Have they created? Very important is to know about the adverbs ever and never. Ever and never express the idea of an unidentified time before now. Ever and never are always placed before the main verb in past participle. We have examples in questions form. Have you ever been to Paris? Has he ever met John? Examples in negative questions. Haven't they ever been to Australia? Hasn't she ever eaten Chinese food? Examples in negative statements using the pattern nothing plus ever or nobody plus ever. Nobody has ever said that to him before. Nothing like this has ever happened to Emma. Examples with the first time. It's the first time that I ever eaten soup. Very important is that you know about never, already and yet. Never means at no time before now. Be careful, you must not use never and not together. I have never been to England. I haven't never been to England is an incorrect example. And I have never been to England is correct example. Already refers to an action that has happened in an unspecified time before now. It suggests that there is no need for repetition. Examples. I've already drunk 2 glasses of milk this morning. Don't write to Emma, I've already done it. Have you already written to Emma? Has he finished his homework already? I have already been to Australia. I have been to Australia already. Yet is very important also to use. Yet is used in negative statements and questions. To mean not in the period of time between before now and now. Not up to and including the present. Yet is usually placed at the end of the sentence. Example. Have you met John yet? I haven't visited Tokyo National Museum yet. We have also a present perfect with for and since as important. Using the present perfect, we can define a period of time before now by considering its duration, with for plus a period of time, or by considering its starting point, with since plus a point in time. For and since can also both be used with the past perfect. Since can only be used with perfect tenses. For can also be used with the simple past. For plus a period of time. We can examples for that. For 6 years, for a week, for a month, for hours, for 2 hours. Example. I have worked here for 5 years. We have examples for since plus a point in time. Since this morning, since last week, since yesterday, since I was a child, since Monday, Wednesday, since 2 o'clock. I have worked here since 1992. We have examples for present perfect with for. She has lived here for 10 years. We have taught at this school for a long time. John has been married for 3 months. We have been at the hotel for a week. Present perfect with since is also important to know. Examples for that are: she has lived here since 1985. We have taught at this school since 1967. John has been married since January 2nd. They have been at the hotel since last Monday. We have difference between the present perfect tense and simple past. I'm going to explain you a bit. You must always use the present perfect when the time of an action is not important or not specified. You must always use the simple past when details about the time or place that an action occurred are given or requested. We have comparison of present perfect and simple past. For example, in present perfect, an example: I have lived in London. Example in simple past is: I have lived in Madrid. Second example of present perfect tense is: they have eaten Chinese food. An example of simple past is: they ate Chinese food. One example of present perfect is: have they seen Sense and Sensitivity? An example of simple past: where did they see Sense and Sensitivity? One example of present perfect tense is also: we have been to Australia. An example in past simple is: when did they go to Australia? There is also a difference in attitude between the two tenses, which is often an important factor in choosing which tense to use. What did you do at school today? I use the simple past tense because the question is about activities and the school day is considered finished. What have you done at school today? I use the present perfect because the question is about results. Show me. The time at which the question is asked is considered as a continuation of the school day.
Thank you for joining me for this brief tutorial. Again, I'm Danijela Milenkovic, your teacher, and today you'll be learning about using present perfect tense properly. Congratulations on your effort to learn English. See you on the next lesson. Don't forget to subscribe by below this video.